Okay. Hey, love. Hey, Emma. How are
Hey.
you? You okay, babe?
Yeah, I'm good, Debs. How you doing? You're looking great on your phone.
Thank you, hon. You look good too. I take it everything's going well over there.
Yeah, everything's fine. Oh, let me just have make sure I've got the internet on the right one because it was a bit funny the other day, wasn't it? Okay, yeah, I've got it. Yeah, all is good.
Yeah, yeah.
All is
My
good.
well,
Excited.
I'm actually on my phone today because my internet's gone down. It went down yesterday, and I've been speaking to various people, and internet is popping down all over the place, including one of the like the technician that come to fix it said that there was quite a few that had gone down in town in the center of London. So I don't know whether that's affected everyone else, but anyway, we're here, we're still plodding along, right?
Well, it could have because we have a lot of intel on our Bella Emotions community page.
Yeah,
And there has been, well, we were speaking about a blackout last year. Do you remember? About a
yeah,
possible blackout. But I think it may be happening now. Maybe now is the time where where the internet maybe not be working, but there's a reason behind that. Maybe because it's been refreshed.
yeah,
We'll see. We'll
yeah.
see. We don't know.
Well, there's new systems, right? New technologies coming in
Yeah.
place, as we know. So
Yeah.
like, we do with our spring clean in our house or with people in our lives, you've got to remove the old to bring in the new. So things will be kind of popping off.
Yeah, I think they're doing exactly the same thing with the internet because we do
Yeah,
everything at the internet, and
yeah,
there's a lot of darkness on the internet, the dark
yep,
web, if you will. So that needs
yeah,
to be
yeah, yeah.
removed as well as everything else that's dark on this planet.
Tell me about it.
So yeah, it's exciting times. It's
It
exciting
is
times.
exciting times, very much so. So today
Yeah,
we're going to talk about death, right? On grief.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sounds a
But
bit
that's
depressing.
no, it well to me it doesn't. It's just to me it's process of life because when we if we look at nature, we know that the leaves die off in winter and then they come back again in spring. So for me, nature very much speaks to me about everything that we kind of have here on life, and it's a teacher, definitely teaches us. So I don't believe in death the way it's been taught to us, because death is something that we're supposed to fear according to old systems and old teachings. So I think personally, I feel we need to unlearn a lot of this. Yeah, because we never truly die. The soul doesn't die. Our body will die and go back to the earth because that's exactly what it's meant to do. A bit like the tree, the leaf from the tree. Yeah, it
You just
falls to
stole my
the earth.
thought. I actually visualized
Yeah,
that.
yeah, right. Yeah, like I said, nature tells us everything we need to know. And there's always newness that comes about from death. So we never truly die. Our soul just goes back home to which we came. So I think for me, my first real big death, I've had lots of death throughout, experience of people dying throughout my life. Of course, living through the HIV AIDS epidemic, I witnessed lots of friends dying. It was it wasn't it wasn't pretty. It was quite traumatic for a young life to see that, I feel. However, it did kind of make me a bit stronger about it because I had an insight that they were only ever in the next room, which is a quote my friend used to say back in those times. They only ever go to the next room. And you can, when you're not in a grief state, when you're not grief struck, you can feel them. I felt many friends on dance floors. And it may sound eerie if you're not used to the soul and the spirit communicating with the soul and the spirit. It's actually very peaceful and very beautiful. So I would say that was my first experience of death and grieving. But then when my mum passed, that was a real blow, because that was out of the blue for me. I was only 33 at the time. And I remember the day like it was yesterday. Yeah, that was a very hard blow. It kind of felt like someone had punched me in my stomach, and I was kind of just flying through the air for about 2 years. I was flying through the air and eventually landed. But I knew I had to get spiritually stronger, because I didn't want to go through that grief struck place for 2 years when my uncle passed, who was, you know, he was my closest relative to me. So I knew I needed to get spiritually strong, and that was the domino effect of my bigger spiritual awakening, most definitely. And realizing that literally they are only in the next room.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course.
So when your friends, when you had the period of the HIV and your friends were dropping, was that
Yeah.
was that close to when your mum died as well, or was that after?
No, I was about 19 when the AIDS epidemic hit London in a big way.
And your mum was way forward.
I was 33.
So when before you said that you felt that you connected with them on the dance floor. So was that at the same period when they'd actually gone that you were connecting with them? Were you grieving, but you were kind of feeling them on the dance floor? Was it at that time?
I would say it was a good few years later.
Okay.
Because amidst the epidemic, we was, you know, drinking loads, shoveling coke up our nose to basically just get over the whole pain.
Yeah, you're just
Of
numbing it out, basically.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely.
And then afterwards, when you were on the dance floor, years after that, perhaps you'd kind of already grieved and you were able to see it in a different eye on the dance floor. Perhaps you were feeling, because also when you're on the dance floor, you're kind of in 5D, aren't you? When you're out,
Yeah, you're
and you're
free
buzzing,
and
and when
you're
you're
being.
joyful, not when you're grieving and you're
Yeah,
numbing something out, but when you're actually joyful and you're with your
exactly,
friends and you're dancing and you're listening to the music and you're
exactly.
connecting, maybe they channeled through you when you were on that
Yes,
dance floor, because that was the space where we used to connect as 5D beings, right? When we were in our element,
yeah, for sure,
because
right?
it was pure love. It was
Yeah, and you've hit it right on the head. You're in a love
love
space.
vibration, and that's where you
Yes,
felt them. So
yes.
were you at peace? Was that a few times that happened, or was that just once when you?
Yeah, no, that was a couple of times that had happened, and definitely at peace. Definitely, I used to get breezes on my cheek, and speaking to other people that were more spiritually evolved and connected with their soul than I was at that time, used to tell me that when you feel a breeze, that's them kissing you on the cheek, which was
Oh,
so comforting, you know.
so you
And
kind of started your spiritual journey like a couple of years after they'd passed away. You were starting to discover, right?
yeah, I would say so, most
Well,
definitely. I kind of calmed down on the drugs a lot and the drinking as well, right? Um, so it was kind of a natural process. And plus, being out of a grief state kind of raises your vibration, because grief and grieving can be very low vibrational energies, because you're thinking, they've left me. It's very selfish. Yeah, it's not a right, there isn't a right or wrong way to grieve. It's a process that we have to go through. But what I found from the young Debbie that was grieving when she was 19 to me grieving now is completely different energy and vibration, because I don't attach to it. I know it's a process that my body remembers. I've probably got the memory of that grieving space and what we are supposed to do in my cells. That memory probably still resides. Yeah. But I'm no longer attached to that feeling of loss. Yes, you're going to miss people when they pass, of course. You know, I think that's a natural process. But what I'm saying is that with a lot more spiritual tools in my box, it's much easier for me to get through that process without it being so
Heavy.
down and heavy and low.
I think
You
it's
know?
also because, again, it comes back to the programming, right? So it's the perception,
Yeah,
how we perceive grieving, how we perceive a loss of a person, because we understand that that's it. That's it. They're gone, and they're never going to live again, and they're never going
exactly.
to have an opportunity to experience, life, and
Yeah,
we're never going to see them again. But it's a belief, so therefore it's like it's like a very drastic cutoff of but that actually in reality is not the way it really is, but that's
it's
how
a
we've been taught. We've been
yes,
taught to believe
yes.
that. And
It's
that's why
also a
people are
lie.
so scared of death.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
There's,
and here as well, like, I mean, in my experience, I had a very good friend who committed suicide about 3 months ago,
yeah,
December, and he
yeah,
threw himself off a bridge in my village. And I'd been with him 2 nights before.
yeah.
But
That's
he'd been like in the 90s, no, sorry, in the 80s. In the 80s, there was a lot of heroin, and we were involved with all of that. And since then, he's been kind of trying to recoup. He was 44 years old, same age as me, but he was still in the same place. And it's like with the same, and he was a beautiful being, but he just did not have the strength. So he decided, I think he knew that he didn't want to be anymore. When someone knows it's their time to,
yeah.
should we say, transition instead of
Yes,
dying? Would you call it
yes,
that?
yes.
Because
Definitely.
you
It's
said that the other day,
definitely.
I like that. So he knew it was his time to transition, that his soul um, uh, was no longer going to learn anything in that body. It's like the body was done. The body was not allowing him. So that's why he knew that he needed to go. Now, at first, my first reaction was the programming that I have, and it was that whole human thing. Like, I'm not going to see him again. And I should have done more. I could have done more to help him. And I felt
Mm.
that kind of guilt as well. Um, and yeah, I cried like a Mary Magdalene, they say in Spanish, como una Magdalena. I
Uh-huh.
cried and cried, and
Yeah.
every single time I passed the bridge, and I needed to do that, and I understand that. But then it was a process, and then I understood more at an energetical level, because I'm more spiritual now, and I understand
Yeah.
that there is life after death and death after life. Simply when you die like that, it's like a portal. So I visited the bridge, and I spoke out loud the next day, and I was in tears, but I said to him, now you know what it feels like. This is unconditional love. You finally know what it is.
Yeah.
And I hope that in your next life, you will be able to learn the lessons that you were not able to learn in this life. I love you. And
Oh.
I feel you. You're with me. You're wow. You're with infinite consciousness now,
Mm.
and an opportunity to become another being, or a plant or a tree. I'm not too sure what you become, but
Yeah.
like you have
Yeah.
many
Yeah. Yeah.
different lives.
Yeah.
So there's two different ways of seeing it. But when you start seeing it like that, I didn't feel so heavy.
Yeah. That's
I
actually quite a
cried. I
beautiful.
felt the grief. I felt the negative emotion, the low vibration, the
Yeah.
low frequency. I gave myself that time. I
Yeah.
allowed it. But then I looked at it at an energetical point, and I observed it, and I understood that actually that was his time.
Yeah.
And I was happy to let go of that. And it's the same as my parents or people who have been, read, and you get worried and they're getting ill, or and it's like, actually I've learned to detach, because before it was like, oh my god, you can't take it, we were all mad trying to convince everybody not to do that and to be careful, you know because of the second effects or whatever. But we've learned through this year, has been quite heavy, to learn how to distance yourself. It doesn't matter how much love you have for that person. Understand to distance yourself, and every person is a sovereign being. Every person has the
Mhm.
right to decide what they want to do with their body. Okay,
Totally.
whether they can see if it's good or not, that's you can't control that. So
Yeah.
stepping back from that and allowing and understanding that actually, if that person passes away or leaves this realm, it will be okay because
Yeah.
it'll have been their time to leave
Yeah.
this space right now, and that's what's
Definitely.
happening globally, don't you think?
Most
Planetary,
definitely.
like
Yeah.
on the planet.
Most definitely. Most definitely. It's been happening from before the whole, 2 years that we've just had. I'm not going to mention any key words that might flag us up because I just can't be doing with the
No, no,
with
no.
the
Well, we
editing.
haven't mentioned any
So
yet, though, have we?
no, we haven't. No, we haven't. I'm just being mindful. The
Yeah.
last couple of years, prior to the last couple of years, there were so many people that were coming off of the planet because the energy on the planet has been raising and raising and raising to a higher vibration, to a higher frequency. And some people just didn't have the energy to match that. So loads of people have been coming off the planet. We've seen the likes of Bowie, Prince, Victoria Woods, the comedian. There was so many people. For me personally, I lost my last elder to the family. And that was just 4 weeks after I'd lost my friend. Or was it reverse? I lost my aunt and then I lost my friend 4 weeks after. It was just crazy. So in 1 year, I'd stopped counting at 6 people. I stopped counting. I just thought, okay, I can't be doing this. I need to sort of get myself in a place where I can be okay, where I can get up out of bed, where I can function with my life and know that they're okay. They have gone back home. And you can do work on sending people, helping people to get back home. Because if, if we had partners and they passed and we were yearning for them so much, or, your mum or whatever, you're really yearning for this person, we can hold them here energetically. And no one wants to do that, right? I would like to think that everyone would like people to go to the light and go back home with ease. So we can, by saying, I send you to the light, I ask, I pray, I intend, Archangel Michael comes to take you to the light, give guidance, give strength, give courage to let go of this world, to go home. I've had to say words or similar words so many times. And it really does, it gives you an insight, because people do talk to you in the way that spirit talks. It's not like earthbound talking. It's like instantaneously you've got a whole load of words, a story, an action in your mind when spirit talks to you. Or it could be a song that you hear and it makes you think of them, and that's them saying, hi, I'm here, how are you? Right? Or if you're very open, because I remember when my uncle passed eventually, right? I was spiritually strong enough to help him pass because he was hanging on. He still wanted to be looking after his nieces. It's a very strange family dynamic that we have, right? Because my mum wasn't very well. So my uncle, her brother, decided to take us all. So he was the provider to the family partner and his own life to stick around. So very unusual dynamic, right? And I would say very much I'm my uncle's niece because I have a lot of his mannerisms. But when he was on his bed, I knew instinctively that he was hanging on because he still wanted to provide and do his earthbound things. And I was like, Uncle Bob. Bob's me uncle, right? Uncle Bob. I was like, babe, thank you so much for everything you've done. But you can go home now. You can let go. You just have to follow the light. Just follow the light and it will all be okay. And the day I said that, my aunt was there in the evening and she said he kept telling me to put the bed higher. He was going higher, higher, higher in the bed, right? And she was like, it doesn't go any higher, Bob. It doesn't go any much higher than this. It's the highest it goes. that night he passed, right? So I know he was following the light, going higher, higher, higher. And he come to visit me. He come to visit me while I was in the kitchen of my old flat, making a cup of tea. Because that, he would always say, do you want a cup of tea? That was a thing. It was just a thing in our household. Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of tea? I'll make it, like, and that was the conversation of stepping first, first 5 minutes in the house. So I was making a cup of tea and I felt a presence go by the window. Then the nighttime I went to make a cup of tea and I put the light on and it exploded. So it was quite bizarre. Also going past where the CDs were, a CD fell off. It actually went come out of the CD rack and onto the floor. And when I checked the songs, there was a Nat King Cole song on there. And he used to love Nat King Cole. So they talk to us. They very much come through. And of course, because I was a little bit more clearer with his passing and also assisting him leaving the earth plane, there was that connection there where it was safe for him. He knew it was safe for him to talk to me in that way, which was quite dramatic, some people may say, right? But so we could have that conversation when he first left. Yeah. But souls and spirit won't come if we're scared or if we're in a fear state.
So basically, if we're in like a low emotion vibration, if we've been attached to the grief and we actually think that if we believe they don't exist, they don't come.
Exactly.
It's like, it's like guides and angels, right? If you don't believe it, they won't come to you unless you're at a really high frequency.
Yeah, it's more to do with your frequency. I would say it's more to do with your frequency, because when we're sad and in that grief state, if you think about it, do you want to go and see someone that's permanently sad and in a grief state? If we're honest, like if someone's having a bad episode, that's fine. That's different. But if someone's constantly sad, constantly moaning, and constantly in a low vibrational state, do you want to go and check them? Because I don't. I'm being honest. I don't.
So it's like for us to see it, like imagine, so we have like a line, and then underneath here is the lower frequencies, and the higher frequencies are here. Yeah. Okay, so 5D here, 3D here, maybe 4D in the middle. But guides and connection with higher realms, you have to kind of be on this side. You have to be here in 5D to be able to, and also speaking to them, stating it, affirming it, and actually giving out the intention, so that
intention is asking them. Yes, you're asking, right? That's what an intention is asking. Praying, it's asking. There is all different words for the same thing: ask, pray, intend.
And do you think obviously it all comes in one, like being thankful as well, and like feeling complete. Do you think that feeling complete is necessary to be able to access this, to be able to speak to somebody? Or it won't always happen. So say somebody's listening to us now and they would like to see if they can contact with someone, a loved one that's passed away. All they need to do is speak out loud and be in that space, like put a meditation on, just guide me, like what are the tools that we would need to be able to, obviously, first of all, detach from that grief and come to a happy vibration. We know that.
Yeah, it's very, I guess it's easier said than done, but it's not impossible, because people do it. I've done it, and I know so many people that have done it. So what would I suggest? You've first got to detach. I think when you're attached to the soul of that person, like I say, they haven't gone anywhere. You can actually hold their energy in this earth plane, which is not a very pretty place for a soul to be. It needs to evolve and go home. Yeah, that's what the purpose of the soul is to go back to the oneness, go back home. Yeah. So definitely detach from the grief, but you can't rush that process. That's going to naturally take its course. And you can be gentle with yourself. Being gentle with yourself is without sort of bringing a morbid sense into it, or a kind of worries me sense into it. But, you know, be gentle with yourself and your well-being. I remember when my mum passed, my sleep pattern went out. So I was sleeping through the day and awake at night. I was all over the place, completely took me off my center.
It's very easily done to go down, right?
Yeah.
Have a drink and like, oh God, just
Yes.
I don't want to feel
Exactly.
this. I just don't want to
Yeah.
feel this, and I
Yeah.
just want to be in peace. And but yeah, it's not the right way. It's like a bit like pain, isn't it? It's like you have to
Yeah.
manage it. You have to manage the emotion and make sure you attempt to find peace. You know, during
Yeah.
the process, if you will.
Yeah. So very much focus on your well-being. You know, get yourself out of bed, get some home cooked food down you. You know, make the effort to, you know, have a bath. I'm saying this because for some people that perhaps don't have that much strength in the time of grief, it's very difficult for them to get to the end of the day. And it's a very much touching on depression again, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
It is a state of depression. But it's something that's out of your control, quite different from depression. It's something out of your control because it's been caused by the loss of someone. And it doesn't have to be that they've died. It could be that you've ended a relationship, a long-term relationship, and lost family, pets. You know, that can be a state of grief.
But it's that feeling of separation,
Yes.
isn't it? It's that whole we live in a duality, you know, that it's like I'm here and you're there, and you know if you're not here anymore, then we're separated, and you know that's the grief as well of feeling like you're missing something, feeling like
Yeah.
you're not complete, because again that's the programming that if we are missing
Yeah.
somebody then
Right.
we are not complete, but actually
Right.
this is not the case. We are complete, and actually we are all connected and interconnected, like we're unique in
Definitely.
our own way, but we are one, right?
Yeah.
So it's knowing that actually we're never alone, you
No.
know, we are
Indeed.
never alone, and
Indeed.
time doesn't exist. It's like, you know, we're just in different dimensions, or whatever, right?
Yeah, man.
It's opening up to that, opening up to the
Yeah. That's
spirituality, the spiritual side of how we live and how we die,
yeah.
and understanding that life and death is like the phoenix bird. Yeah, so every year we
Yeah.
can die, or like the leaves of the tree, we can die and you know, and then live again, you know, and it gives us the opportunity to rise up again. So
Hmm.
another thing I was going to mention about this before I forget is it's very hard when somebody passes away and you have something that you still need to say to them, or you feel like you're guilty because you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And a lot of the times when our family members are alive, we don't speak these things, and then suddenly they're
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's a very heavy feeling to hold on to. And
Totally.
I found that EFT, the emotional feeling technique tapping, which I do,
Yeah.
is super, super powerful because you go into memories of when that person was alive in real time.
Yeah.
And you, as today, you go in and you speak to them. You go into your subconscious mind in a memory and you sit down and you speak to them and you hold them and you can embrace them and you can speak it in your mind or out loud, and you actually make peace. So the feeling of sadness of not having spoke to that person, once you do it in your subconscious mind, you come back to your heart again, and you can get better, you feel better, you know, you can basically you can create closure without that person being here. Don't think that because that person has passed away or is no longer in this realm or has what we call
Transitions.
transition,
Transitions.
that you can't have an opportunity to speak to that person and tell them how you feel. And if you don't do it through a therapy or through that kind of method, you can just speak it out loud, like you were saying.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
And
I,
you
I
just
actually
imagine that
used
they're there.
I actually used the EFT as a tool when my mum passed because
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of quantum touch, and it was very, very powerful tool.
Well, there's EFT and there's the reprinting of the matrix,
Mm,
which is awesome because that EFT is more like you're looking at the movie, so you're changing the movie in your mind. But the reprinting of the matrix is more like a theater. So you're going in and you're actually living it in that moment and changing the memory. And then there's a resolution. So then you kind of like breathe it out to the universe in every direction. And then you think about it for 21 days, or you just keep it in your mind, or you paint a picture and you put it on your wall of you guys, hugging and your angels and whatever you want to put into the picture.
mm.
And then that belief kind of in some way dissolves, you know?
So is that a visualization then?
It's not a visualization. So you as Debs would go in and visit Debs in that moment who is grieving
Mm,
and say, how can I help you? What is it we can do right now? And you'll say to your big Debs, to you now, um, you will say, I want to bring in mum because I need to speak to her. And then I'll say to you, okay, make it happen. And then tell me what's happening. So you're basically doing it. I'm just guiding you. And you're
mm,
changing the memory. Oh, who else do you want to bring in? I want to bring in dad now. Okay, let's do that. Does it feel right? Yeah. Okay, so do it. And if you need to tap on somebody because they're a bit aggressive or it's an abusive situation, then you can freeze them and tap on them and bring them to the heart. And then if it feels right, we can unfreeze them and then
mm.
create the memory. If it doesn't feel right, you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
But with grieving,
I've
it's very powerful.
yeah, I've done a lot of visualizations on um what you're speaking about. It sounds very similar. I mean, look, there's many different paths, right, to get to the same place
Oh,
because
wow.
the
Yeah.
universe, the universe is abundant like that, you know.
Oh, for sure. I think tapping is
Um,
really cool because it's like you're tapping on the meridian lines, which
yes,
are where all
exactly.
the
Yeah,
emotions flow. So
yes,
all your negative emotions flow through that and your positive ones. So then you're reframing. So it's like,
yeah,
even though I feel this grief, I love and accept myself deeply and
yeah,
completely. And as you
yeah,
tap, oh my God, you're decoding the
yeah, definitely,
information and you're
definitely.
coming back to yourself. It's like when you have a pain as well, if you tap on it, the intensity of the pain actually lowers. It goes down. I
Mm,
used to use it when I had chronic pain. So
yeah,
it does do wonders. But again, there's so many different ways of getting to that
yeah.
same core place.
I find quantum touch is much quicker and more profound than EFT,
Right.
which is obviously why I'm kind of
Mm.
saturating myself in
But
it.
it's more complete. It's more the light, isn't it? It's not just
Well, it's working with universal source energy. So you're basically tapping into where we come from when we're born
yeah.
and where we go to when we die and what everything is.
Mm.
Yeah. You're working with that. And all you have to do is set your intentions, breathe, and allow yourself to move out of the way in order for the energy to flow through. So I find really, since I've been doing quantum touch, that even though on some level, the amount of people recently actually is been quite a lot of people that I've lost, but my point of grieving is just not the same because I have a knowing that we don't die. The soul doesn't die. It continues its journey. And I find that to be very reassuring and very comforting. And the more you trust that and the more you really know that to be true, I'm not talking about a belief, I'm talking about a deep scented knowing it to be true. It's kind of without wanting to sort of trivialize it, it feels like water off of a duck's back. It's kind of like, okay, we've got this. And I do feel it's something that we're going to need to prepare ourselves for because I think that you know, death is going to be in everyone's life soon, in quite a big way. So yeah, it's important to have the tools and to know that everything is okay. The universe has everyone.
I think also now also believing this that actually, you know, for me, death is just a very dark kind of heavy word, but it doesn't actually exist. um, I feel that it takes away my fear of stepping into my truth. It takes away the fear of me jumping into pressing the button for streamlining and doing my online dance and just going for it. Just giving myself into whatever I want to do, because we always have this fear, you know? It's just like what we scared of, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, if they told us we were going to die tomorrow, then you just want to do everything in one day, right? No, but
Yeah,
death is a massive barrier, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah, for
stops us.
sure.
It stops us from doing so many things because it's this really, it's fear, isn't it? As we were saying.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess like, well, you know what you were saying a few minutes ago about sort of speaking to your relatives, or we tend not to say stuff to them. So we tend not to speak our truth, our feelings, because it sounds silly, or whatever the story is that's in your head. I found that through losing so many people that I do tell my people that I love them. You know, I do say that to my family. I do say it to my friends when I mean it, obviously. Not not if it's not true. But you know, it's very important to share our truths.
Yeah, I think now as well. I always, even though my dad, you know, sometimes we don't have the same opinions, but I just love him. I love him, and
Yeah,
I always tell him that I love him. You know, and it's important to be able to express that love and to express how we feel
yeah,
with the people that we are around all the time,
yes,
because we're all part of the same journey, and
yeah,
it doesn't matter if they have different perspectives from you, or
yeah,
we mustn't be angry with each other. You know, we just need to set our boundaries down, but we
yeah,
can still continue having that respect so that, you know, when they do go, we don't have those feelings of
yeah, and
why didn't I do that or why didn't I do this, you know. And
yeah,
going back to like the what you were mentioning about a lot of people leaving this realm, we are going to see this, and I think again now I'm understanding it more than ever, and I'm sure you are too, because we're talking about moving into 5D, right? It's all about wanting to move into that way of living and how we can
yeah,
do that, and using the right tools and the right methods to be able to go there, or to, it's not a place, but we know it's a density, we know it's a certain frequency, and
yeah,
it's, you know, frequencies of love, of joy, of happiness, of, you know, gratefulness or whatever. But I feel that this is a massive transition, galactically, like, and also on the globe, on the planet. It's like,
totally.
the thing is, because there are, as we've spoken before, these crystalline energies that are coming in from the sun, from wherever it may be, these crystalline energies are coming in onto the planet. So therefore, there's a lot of light. It's really intense right now. And
Hmm.
all of our shadows are right in front of us. It's like either you do something about it or I'm going to slap you. And actually,
Yeah,
no, and those slaps come in the way, in the form of pain,
yeah,
anxiety,
yeah,
depression, because they become that because you're attached to these negative, to these low frequencies, and these
yeah,
attachments to these low frequencies are not allowing you to push forward into, you know, a higher dimension. And unfortunately, the energies of the planet, well, in a good way, but what I'm saying is that the energies of the planet are now really intense, and there's so much light, even from the crystalline core of 5D
yeah,
of Mother Earth, that's been activated as well right now.
yeah,
And we are supposed to be channels to connect these two, to
yes,
connect Ra, to connect the crystalline energies that are coming from heaven or from above, and to connect the ones that are coming from Mother Earth We are supposed to be the channels.
Yes, we are.
So
That's
unless we
exactly what we
clear,
work on in quantum touch.
yeah,
Yeah, and qigong. That's exactly what we work on.
yeah. So unless we clear the shit that's in our bodies, we are not going to be able to move forward, and it's only going to get worse for the ones that don't look at this. And therefore, if you don't look at it and you are in 3D and you are carrying on with your life like if nothing's happening, still doing your 3D job, you know, not listening to, not wanting to know, just being in your ego or whatever, then, you know, things are going to happen to you. And, you know, we will lose many people that will not be able to live on this planet anymore
Yeah.
because of the frequency,
Yes.
because it's a frequency situation here we're talking about. It's about densities. And this is so exciting in some ways, right?
Yeah.
But some souls are not meant to be here on this planet. They'll leave to another planet or then they'll come back another time. And they'll come and learn their lessons in another lifetime, right?
Hmm.
They'll have to come back. As I'm saying, you just come back as another person, you come back into another life, and then you have those opportunities to learn the lessons and to start from zero again. So it's cool, you know, those who leave, it doesn't matter, they're going to come back,
Hmm.
right? And those
Yeah.
of us who
Look.
stay will be in 5D, baby.
Yay. Look. The thing is there is no end. We
Yeah.
just continue and continue to get better and better and better and better and better. So even if people are still in the 3D zone, it's okay. I mean, it's not kind of. I just want to emphasize that we're not kind of sort of, yeah, we're 5D, you're 3D, and there's like some sort of hierarchy. That's not what we're about at all. It's very much, we know that we're evolving, and we know that, you know, it is about getting better and better and better and being your best self and raising the vibrations in order to get to where we're going. And we, you know, you're there are some baby souls that are going to take some time to do that, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah.
A
I mean,
bit a,
yeah, I'm aware that this, as I say, as I said that, I'm aware that it will trigger
mm,
people. It will trigger someone that might be watching this that might not feel, but actually, there's no pressure. Everything is in
mm-hmm.
divine timing.
Yeah,
And
indeed,
I'm an
indeed.
old soul, so shit happened to me years ago. I got smacked very hard, and I had to learn because my body was no longer like freaking functioning, you know? So I had
Yeah,
to
no,
learn
I
my
get
lesson.
it.
But I'm super
Yeah,
humble, and you're
yeah,
super humble.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
humble, you know? So
yeah.
it's not for you to feel like we're talking in a superior way. But, you know, once you learn how to, I don't know. It's like once you learn to detach from those dramas in life, and you start
Yeah,
to feel so joyful. It's like you can't stop
yeah,
smiling. It's like, I mean,
indeed.
I have days where I don't smile,
Yeah,
but
of
it
course.
all just comes out of me. Like I don't bottle it up.
Yeah.
You know, I have no filters. You know.
Really, babe?
So I'm really sorry if I've hurt someone's feelings.
No, we're just
Anyway,
old
I'm gonna
souls
have to
having a.
go. I've got to go for a school run, but
All right,
it was
honey.
amazing chatting with you again.
And
And
you.
we're doing them every 2 weeks, aren't we, Debs? Because it's a bit
Yes.
too much every day.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing every 2 weeks just because we got quite a bit on at the moment that
Well,
we're.
we're
we're
ascending, and there's so much stuff and energies
yeah.
and changes
Yeah.
and gardening. Debs, you're doing
I
your.
know.
Oh, I'm launching my online dance soon.
Yay! Good stuff. Oh, I got to the next stage of my QT level 1 instructors. So
Oh, well done.
the next one is I'm going to be allowed to teach on my mentor's next course, which is like no pressure.
Okay, guys, so you've heard it. You've heard it from Debs herself. Okay, so again, we speak from our experience and the wisdom that we have from our life experiences. So, you know, I do online dance, which is for you to move into joy. Debs actually works with quantum healing, and she can help you if you are struggling and if you can't come out of those emotions. And, you know, it's all about reaching out and taking that step and taking the action to make that change. And there's so much information out there. Like 10 years ago, this information would not be free.
No,
People would
exactly.
have to pay
Right.
to listen to us talk. But
Yeah,
nowadays,
exactly.
there's so much flow. This information is for everybody to know because it's not about the money. It's about exchange of energy. It's about frequencies. And abundance comes to you when you're in a high vibration. So also, if you're
Definitely.
stuck with money, this is important for you to clear your stuff, to clear your shit out. And this is it, right? So anyway, Debs is there to help anyone out there who does want to. And also, if you want to learn to, if they want to learn to teach, they can also take a course with you soon, right?
Yeah.
Damn,
Well,
that's
but to be a
crazy.
practitioner, yeah, they can become a practitioner. Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
if you don't have a job and you don't want to go to your corporate company anymore and you really want to feel yourself a little bit more and learn about this stuff, do it for yourself. It's all about healing and love and unity. And oh my
Yeah,
goodness gracious
indeed.
me, 5D is where I want to be.
Totally, babes. Totally. It's
Oh
exciting
no.
times.
Okay,
Exciting
so
times.
yeah, join us on Bellaemotions. Telegram is the way as well forward, and that's where we have loads of intel. Debbie's got our YouTube channel and a website. We've got all the details in the link below. And if you want to dance, also join my Amazon Music on Telegram. Anything else, Debs?
No, that's it. Just, keep your chin up, guys. Don't let grief hold you down. It's just a process. Just try not to attach to it. Give yourself some salt baths, burn some lavender. Just be comfortable with the stage that you're at, and comfort yourself, comfort your soul. And the more you get through the process, the more that your souls that have left this plane and transitioned will be able to communicate with you. It's all good. Everything's
Yeah.
in divine order.
It's important to know it's not a time to be sad. It's not the end of the world. This is actually a turning point in humanity, and it's very
Yeah.
exciting. And
Yeah.
we need to understand that, that we're
Yes.
energetic beings, and that it's all energy. Everything is matter.
Yes.
So, in that note, love you lots.
Yeah. Love you too.
Take care,
Take
darling.
care, people. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.